Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson, and this evening, I know I will be joined by my panelist, that is Miguda, Makobura, Joseph, and Msimamu. I'm still waiting for them. We are also waiting for Simba to come in and share with us the news that is coming all the way from Kisii. It is Monday evening. I hope and I believe you had a fantastic day. For those who are working, you had a very good day at your work. And I believe you are enjoying your evening. And that is okay. Just let us know where you are watching us from. And you can also join in the conversation through the comment section. We will really appreciate. Um, we had a very long weekend. Few things, or quite a number of things, happened in the weekend. And first of all, we want to begin with the Senegal. Senegal won the champions of Africa, and they won it under very difficult conditions. There are quite a number of issues that they were raising even few days before the finals, and they felt in a way that they were not treated fairly, especially few days to the finals. And maybe just to share with you some of the complaints that they raised, especially before the finals and everything that happened during the field, where they had to protest and leave the pitch for quite some times over a controversial penalty that was awarded at the tail end of the match, which the protest lasted for almost 15 minutes, where some of the players from Senegal had to go to the locker room and, dressing room. So Mane had to go back to call them after consultation. So there's quite a match that was happening. But let me just share with you some of the complaints actually that were raised by the Senegal team prior to their final match. So the Morocco, host of the Africa Cup of Nations, is facing accusation from Senegal regarding inadequate security and hospitality. There was no enough security, especially for adequate, not enough, I would say. There was no adequate security for Senegal players. Remember when they were going to they were going to the field where they're supposed to have the final. They were exposed to crowds, as you know, on the train. So that one was one of the issues that they raised with CAF. They also hospitality arrangement, that was also a problem. So arrangement, the Senegalese Football Federation claims that upon arrival in Rabat, the team faced insufficient security, poor accommodation, limited tickets allocation for supporters. They also expressed frustration over being offered a training pitch at Morocco's team base, which they deemed unfair. So they feel they found unfair treatment, and despite all the unfair treatment that they got, but at the end of the day, with the controversial penalty that was awarded at the tail end of the game, they had to come back. They had to play the 90 minutes. They have to go for the extra time. At the end of the day, they beat they beat Morocco on their soil. And if you go on the internet, you also saw Algeria actually were on the street celebrating the win for Senegal. And even in the internet, so many people are celebrating the win of the Senegal. But it's not only Senegal who complained about injustice that they got from the Morocco. Even other teams also complained. So that is that. We're good, Abarigani. Hello, Miguda. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm
Yeah.
doing good. Yeah, I'm here.
Everything okay?
Yeah,
We
I'm okay. I'm
saw.
okay. Pretty much okay.
All right. Thank you so much. We saw the Senegalese won the the African Cup of Nation, and under some kind of like difficulties and unfair or unjust treatment on the field. And what do you say about this, and how can you classify the Africa Cup of Nations? Okay.
Yeah,
We
African
yeah.
Africa of Nation.
Mm,
There have been, or from the traditional, you find that mostly there have been issues to do with the discrimination. Even at
mm-hmm,
the time, the previous World Cup we played continentally, you find out that when Moroccan or Algeria, those Arab teams
mm,
proceeded to when they proceeded to quarterfinals, they started saying that standard of football is not meant for Africans. That is an
mm,
Arabian football. So
mm,
they exclude themselves from Africans, that they are not Africans, they are Arabians. And that's why they are playing Arabian football. So Africans also, on the other side, have also been trying to push. And that's
yeah.
why Africans across the continent were happy and
Mm,
celebrating the victory of Senegal because there have been this discrimination by them. They're the people who introduced it, just
mm-hmm,
like you have just told us. When people were hosted at their country, there were issues of insecurities, issues of discrimination, issues to do with race, I think. But that is null and void. So if they could have won, it could be a different case. But remember, they are doing that because they were the host. But remember, the next time we will be hosting. Do they expect us to treat them good? We just give them the same treatment they gave us. So that's how I think to us, we are just happy that Senegal won and
mm-hmm,
the best winners won. So even if you do whatever, football is not being win when people fight or
yeah.
enough security. It's about
Mm-hmm.
90 plus minutes. So I think that's what I can say.
It's about 90 plus minutes, but if you're very keen, because I was following the game, there are some incidences whereby people have really accused the referee for not being just, especially not being neutral, based on instances where the Senegalese, the first goal that they scored was denied, and people felt that was very unfair, and the way even the penalty was awarded, that also raised some questions, and people are pointing out at the corruption at the CAF, how the CAF is so much corrupt. If something like that can happen and they don't raise those issues, do you see Africa, not even Africa, like the organization that is mandated to oversee this kind of tournament, the issues that people are raising, they can deal with them and answer those questions? Because there are quite a number of people who want to know, especially there's a complaint that was lodged by Nigerians, and even the Senegalese, before a few days before the match, they've lost, they led some complaints too. And other teams also, even who played against Morocco, felt like there was an unfairness, especially by the host.
Yeah, there can be unfairness by the host. Matters sports, football, they are also distinct and they are being regulated separately with their
Yeah,
legal issues.
yeah.
So whenever there is an inquiry or whenever there is any other team trying
Mm-hmm.
to bring any petition concerning
Mm-hmm.
the rules, remember even the officials of the match, referee, linesman, even the VAR sometimes can lie to the other opponent. I think
Mm,
there are some criteria that can be taken, and there are some punishment consequences. Maybe somebody can be fired out of the contest, someone can be even expelled, and
mm,
also, if at all it is inquired and find out that they are not contrary to the provisions of the FIFA rules, and that's why we have said they've been dealt with separately. But
mm,
also remember, football is one on one with the fans, and when fan base decided to operate the way they
mm.
prefer, that's another
Yeah.
different case. Remember, there's some regulation they usually to put, like the previously when we were having Chan, we were reduced a numbers of supporters who were supposed to attend the Houru, the Kasarani Stadium. We were
Mm,
reduced. They say we should only allow a certain number to attend the matches. I think there's some regulation, and they're even banned. You can be banned. Teams like Morocco for the mistreatment of the people. You never know. After all the inquiry and finding out has been concluded, they can be
they-
banned even from future tournaments. Remember, even Kenya was just previously banned, and we came back. Teams
mhm,
have been banned. Been banned. Even Pogba, one of the best players in the world, at one point in life he was banned from football. Then after he had finished the punishment, then he can come back. So I think we should just left it to the relevant body to deal with it. But issue of mistreatment, what I can say, remember you are not the only person going to host forever. People, it's rotational.
mhm,
Next time, like I've told you, 2027 it will be here in Kenya. Do you expect us to mistreat them the way they mistreat other Africans? So this issue of racism and this issue of discrimination has
mhm.
also been part of football. That's why most of the time you find that they are really trying to tell you that no room for racism because it's a norm, it's tradition in football. Even there are sometimes where some teams do not even hire or sign African players because of the color.
All right. Thank you so much. And there's also some conversation around the protest that was done by the Senegalese, whereby the players, together with their managers, advised them to walk out of the pitch. And some of them ended up going to the um, dressing room, and you know, um, Saido Mane had to go and call them back. And there are people who have different views on, especially what happened. They say, some people are saying that what Senegal did was not good, but the other people also are supporting what they did because they feel that that 15 minutes really they exposed the corruption that is around the football, the structure, and how the organizers, especially CAF, are not very uh, they are not transparent in issues like what happened. What is your take on the Senegal 15 minutes walk out of the pitch?
Yeah, what they did is not good. What they
Hmm.
did is good. It depends on where you are pointing at it or where your
Yeah.
viewpoint is. Maybe it could be one of the reasons because you have said mistreatment has happened in the AFCON
Mm,
and the host has mistreated other countries. What if the Senegalese decided now to protest? That was a way of protesting because from the
mm,
beginning of the tournament, no official, no one has been taken through the process of regulations. Things
yeah.
are just moving on as usual, and we have a stake in the field. Now
Mm,
it is up to the final team, the finals, which was played by Senegalese and the Moroccan, to decide
mm,
that we want to use this final to expose
mm,
what's happening here at AFCON. At the same time, want to use it to protest. It can be a way of protesting as a football players
mm.
because just like I've told you, at the end of the day, when everything will be concluded, we'll
Right.
have to know actually which team has been banned because of which offenses, how many players have been banned because
Mhm,
of which kind of offenses. That one have
mm,
happened before. So they're just anticipating that they should move with swift to ensure that they restore dignity and order into football. This is the football we should enjoy. Football should be out of all those dramas you've said. So I can say it depends on where you are sitting.
mm.
Senegalese were right or they were wrong.
All right. Thank you so much, Miguda, for that. And all in all, the Senegalese now are the champions of Africa. And there is so much pressure that is going to Sadio Mane for the act and the action he took, especially to um, go and advise or to talk to his teammates. Let's just come and play. If we win, we win. If we lose, we lose. And he's now like he's become bigger than even the champions that they won. He's being talked about more than even the what transpired in the finals. That is that. And Meguda, thank you so much. Miguda, so many things happened during the weekend. Rigathi Gachagua was hosting uh, DCP members at the Coastal. They were doing team building and evaluating themselves. As you know, of late, we've seen quite a number of defections, especially from Rigathi Gachagua party. And also, we've seen President William Ruto is starting to penetrate the central Kenya, where it was deemed that he was not wanted. So, the politics is taking shape, not forgetting about the ODM, what happened during the weekend. Oburu Odinga, the party leader, was having a meeting in Kakamega, and Winnie was having one in Kibera, which is going to be the focus of discussion today. And in Kakamega also, there were two meetings that took place, the same time. And I don't know whether the ODM members are seeing what is happening here, and I think they need to sit down. If not, ODM is going to die. Whether Winnie is going to take it or Oburu is going to take it, something that is very obvious that ODM is not going to be very influential, or is not going to be a party that always had that national outlook because of what is happening in ODM. This is what Reina Sky say. Hi, we must advocate for transparency in soccer. Thank you so much. I really, really, I agree with you that that transparency is one of the topmost, should be in our list, especially because it is nurturing talent. That is one. Secondly, it also will respect the efforts that majority of people have put, especially to win. With the complaints that were coming from the CAF, actually, it is upon themselves now to redeem themselves as CAF, especially. Even my brother here talked about the Morocco, especially on how at some point they distance themselves and they say they're not Africans, so such like should be. So, Miguda, let me just bring you to speed because I've just given you a brief of what happened. Winnie Odinga Parks Kibra rally vows to protect ODM youth leaders, and youth leaders, this one includes Sifuna and Babu Wino and other young ODM members. Senegal wins AFCON 2025 in a tense final against Morocco. So that is also something that is taking top news here. And Pep Gueye extra time goal gave Senegal a one win over host Morocco in AFCON 2025 in Rabat, making their second title in 4 years after Eduardo Mendy saved Brahim Diaz stoppage time penalty. Coach Pep Thiaw ordered the walk off amid refereeing dispute, drawing condemnation from CAF and FIFA, suspensions and backlash, including jeers from Moroccan journalists. Senegal Federation defended the protest as a stand against corruption, while Morocco pursued legal action against CAF and FIFA. And Brahim apologized online for the mess dispute, his team winning the Fair Play Award. So that is what is there. Now come to Winnie Odinga, which is going to be the subject of our discussion. 3 months after Raila Odinga's death on October 15, 2025, his daughter Winnie rallied a massive youth crowd in Kibra, slamming party members for misquoting private talks with her father and declaring Wezi copy paste Baba. She pledged to shield ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna and Babu Owino from expulsion threats, urging patience before any coalitions with the President Ruto party. The event highlighted a growing rift between Odinga siblings and youth versus elders, like acting leader Oburu Odinga with calls for National Delegates Convention in early 2026 to settle leadership democracy. So those are some of the things. And if you go on the Twitter too, Edwin Sifuna, Uwezi copy paste Baba, so that is what was in the weekend. So what dominated the weekend conversation was about the rally of Winnie Odinga in Kibra and the one that was held by Oburu Odinga, both in Kakamega. They were touring Linda Ground, that is their slogan for now. To you, Miguda, maybe if you have something that you can share with us.
A lot has happened,
Yeah.
just like what you have said. And Kenya is on very well. There's that people right now are trying to find their ways, paths in different political parties. And what we have seen is that people are saying Gachagua has also been dumped by some Mount Kenyan MPs. Gachagua has also been left by some Mount Kenyan aspirants.
Yeah.
People now are moving to UDA. You saw also the current president at Nyeri State Lodge, Sagana State Lodge, hosted by the Nyeri governor, who declared that he is for term and Ruto's term has been declared by the people. And when you saw Ruto's cap yesterday, that day, the front one was orange, then the back one was yellow. So it's more of a orange and UDA. That one has happened. And when you talked about what happened at Kamega and Kibra, the team like SG and Babu were missing, but their greetings were actually conveyed by Winnie. At the same time, you find out that their greetings were never conveyed at Kamega. Interesting time ahead, and that's now what politics is. We should be always thinking outside the box. We don't need to be. And people are saying, maybe we'll discuss later. We should just fight within.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. And it is quite much interesting, as you say, that there's interesting also times coming ahead, especially to look at ODM. And this is the first time that Winnie Odinga was coming into public, especially to have our own rally. And made some speech, especially. And we can take different angles to look at what Winnie did or the rally and what is happening. But before even we go there, I've always said this, and remember the first time that Winnie talked about the person who knew about uh, the who understood the memorandum of understanding was signed by President William Ruto and Raila Odinga. He said that person is dead, so we need to go on negotiation and see on how we can. And the message has been the same even from yesterday. So one of the observations that I make, apart from a political differences, there's also family. You can bring in family because this is Winnie, the Raila's family, and this is Oburu, the Odinga's family. So it is that between Raila family and Odinga family. You will not agree with me, but that is one observation that I would draw because, like, for some for good reasoning for somebody like me, I would say when you look at our political parties, the political parties are usually big enterprises, and the owners of the political parties, they benefit in one way or the other. And I would think, or I would tend to think, like Winnie and Oburu, especially to protect the brand of ODM, they could have first of all sit down as a family and take a direction that's one favors the family. Secondly, that might not bring back and forth exchange of political exchange between them. But I do not see that one happened prior. So we will get quite more of this until the ODM will die, because I feel that with what is happening, I don't think even if Winnie Odinga is left with the ODM, they are going to have that influence or that impact that ODM had when Baba was alive. Either whether it is Oburu side that wins, the potential of ODM shall have reduced to almost 20% because of the divisions and the power struggle that we are witnessing in ODM Miguda.
I have a different view.
Yeah,
Of course, I agree with what you have said about family issues.
yeah,
But if you even if you look at it,
yeah.
even if there is family rivalry, at the
Mm-hmm,
end of the day, the privileges are still being enjoyed by both families. Oburu enjoys privileges, and if you look at Oburu,
mm-hmm,
everywhere he is, actually, the people who are sitting behind him are his two sons, Elijah
yeah,
Oginga and Jaoko Oginga. Those are the
mm-hmm,
people who are guarding the throne. On the
mm-hmm,
side, you saw Winnie coming with Junior, Raila Junior, and Winnie's brother, Winnie's son, that is the son to Ruth Adhiambo Odinga's son, the one who have the same voice with Raila Odinga.
mm-hmm,
This is a family affair, and they have just divided people. The other team are bargaining. All of them, of course, are getting some cash from either
yeah,
Ruto or the other
mm-hmm,
person. Of
mm-hmm,
the, all of them are so at the time you people are busy fighting,
yeah,
but with them they are busy enriching themselves. That is one. Number two, there's
mm-hmm,
nothing wrong with Winnie and Oburu fighting. It could be better if Winnie could be fighting against Babu because those are different people. This is a family affair.
mm-hmm,
This is a friendly fire. They can, at one point in life, they will sit down and resolve their issues amicably. But before that one, at the end of the day, Oburu is going to gain much, even politically, and the sons are also being mentored behind him. That's why he's busy with Elijah and Jaoko. So, according to me, what I understand is that
mm-hmm,
Oburu is managing the older generation. Winnie
mm-hmm,
is not even focusing on the 2027, but rather Winnie want to avail herself as the leader of the younger generation. She wants to
mm-hmm,
appear as I'm the person who is going to take up from the because most of her conversation, she's actually advocating for what the young people are after. But if you hear from Oburu, it's against the young people and advocating for the what the other generation. It's like they have divided the generations that you, Winnie, lead the younger generation as I'm concluding the journey of your father with this older generation. That's how I'm seeing it. Because like there is no physical fight here, and there's no
mm-hmm,
even because even if you look at the chopper Oburu is using, that used to be Raila's chopper. So how do you say that these people are not in agreement? Why can't he surrender the Raila's choppers? And the party, the party is moving across in the country is Raila's party. And if you look at the Winnie team, they are not even done in ODM. They are trying to tell the people that we are the future leaders. I'm the future of the younger generation. That's why I'm not interested in those ODM colors. That's why the Kibra Rally was never in or in that color. My view is quite different because me, I'm seeing it that it's like the win is trying to appeal to the future that I'm the future of low people. I'm the future of this generation. Oburu will just it's a passing cloud. But my interest is not in 2027. That's why people were asking her yesterday, give us direction. But she declined. She never really was just Raila because he just said some few things like kuna watu wanarandaranda hapa na party na tujaongea twende NDC na itakuwa noma. So there's nothing you can substantiate that actually she said attacking Oburu or she said about the ODM party. She's just like any other politician trying to look for her space. And that's why she never recognized Babu Owino willingly. It came from the people pressure that Babu Owino. Then say, okay, our friends Babu. Then she also added Edwin Sifuna as Katibu Mkuu. To me, that is just a way of marking Babu with Edwin Sifuna. But in my world, Win
mm-hmm,
is just creating, looking for her own space in politics because of her age, she can still find a way in the future. But let's leave Benson for you to find that this game is very interesting. Two things. One, when Winnie appeared at the church and later at Kibra, Winnie has made the news. Winnie has hit the headlines. But remember, Winnie has not even spent a penny to hit headlines. She hasn't spent a penny to mobilize. She hasn't spent a penny to be relevant. But some politicians do spend much for them to hit headline. That is a clear indication that Winnie She is the future. And if you can be discussed without even an effort, an input from your pocket. Number two, you have seen right now, if you talk, you've talked about the issues to do with the Raila game. Raila was someone who things used to happen by themselves. Winning was brought in by the MCS. You saw Ogeto, the Kilimani ward representative, and those Kibra boys. You saw them even by the time she was leaving the dais. They were escorting her the way they used to escort Baba, and you could not even touch the car. Basically, I'm trying to argue that even when it comes to resources, Winnie is
Mm.
having a head start to start the campaign. But what makes it very much interesting is that Winnie has not spent a penny to hit headlines. She has just ride on the current crisis to create for her own space. So that's how politics work. People have spent a lot of money to be relevant, to be popular, to be famous. But this one, someone people discuss all over without giving people anything. So according to me, I see her trying to propel herself or creating herself as a future leader for the younger generation.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Miguda, for your take. And I can see my brother Makobura. I'll give him a chance to also weigh his thoughts on what is happening in the political landscape. Miguda, when you look at politics, there are so many indicators that would give you the way forward. First of all, from Winnie's speech alone. Remember, if you look at in the Kibra, Winnie had the shortest speech ever, especially in that church, and she did not talk much. As what maybe we thought, especially we thought he would talk of so many things, but there are quite a number of things that are very very crucial for us, especially, and say this tells us there's something wrong. When Winnie talked about walikuwa ndani ya basi na dereva wakaamka wakapata kwamba dereva amekufa, then kuna wale ambao wanang'ang'ania au wakarushwa nyuma, wakawekwa nyuma. First of all, Winnie, he's very particular about the leadership, because the person who was driving the ODM was the father, and now there's people who have just come and now trying to, everybody wants to be like the steering, everybody wants to be like the driver. One of those, if you look at it, it can brings you back to the manner in which Oburu Odinga was given the party leader. Remember when Raila was going for the African chairmanship, he decided to give Anyang' Nyong'o the interim powers to oversee the ODM as a party leader. And there was no any other meeting that was held or any other press that was held after Raila coming back and say that Anyang' Nyong'o, now your duties, now I've taken them back. That is one. Secondly, it also tells you what hurry did they have, because we've just lost him, based on how she was talking. It means is questioning how the leadership of ODM was arrived at. At the end of the day, if to say you cannot copy paste Baba, it means from the look of things and how we are looking at it, there are those who are trying to copy paste, of not to copy paste, to create that notion that Oburu is now the Baba. That's how we are looking at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then,
Yeah. I agree.
then another angle that I'm looking at it, at the opening of his speech, he talked about the musician. And if you look at the Kenya in the entertainment industry, actually the people who brought in the new generation entertainment, Issa is one of them. And Issa was one of the Kenyan most talented in terms of genre that he was doing. The lyrics of Issa, amunitishi, amunibabaishi. You cannot say that, amunitishi, amunibabaishi, in a peaceful environment. Yeah. And even question those who say that we cannot come here. So what that one means, it means that things are not working out, which means she's opposed again to the broad-based government to an extent whereby he said that when Baba used to speak to his people directly, not in secrecy. So when you look at all that, it tells you things are not very easy or things are not well.
Yeah, what I want to say is that when you stated the issue of she's particular on the party leadership, I agree with you.
Yeah.
She's very particular that the leadership is not correct, and she's very particular that that leadership belongs to her rightfully. Very particular. If you because Winnie, let me tell you that girl, she's a politician. She mastered everything Baba used to do, and when she came to the podium, she used those like she used proverbs, parables. She also talks about the musician, and when she was initiating her speech, she started by saying "nataka kuchoma." You will see the way she's trying to hide her thoughts on things like amunitishi. So not her speaking, but refer to the musician that it was the musician who said so. So trying to get the larger audience. At the same time, she said, tuko kwa bedroom, na tena tumetoa viatu. So we are not living here. We are sleeping here. Tumetoa viatu. These things rightfully belong to us. And
Mhm.
lastly, when she talked about the issue of the when she talked about the issue of party leader, that the driver thing, that people are scrambling for the steering. So she said that steering belongs to me, not you people. Why are you scrambling for something that belongs to me? And finally, she concluded by saying, hiyo NDC itakuwa noma, charging the people. Those are Raila's tactics of politics. That's just Raila used to, and finally, before I conclude, Raila usually hides his thought, usually use simple words to the audience. And Raila could not conclude, and Raila was never having a clear direction. He used to call people, we go to Kamkunji, then he say, oh, Tuesday. Then if you go to Mandamano Tuesday, then after that, okay, let's meet for swearing. Then after swearing, people say, okay, that's why people like Atwell used to ask Raila, okay, what's the end game? What's your end game? He never, he never had end game. And that's why politics could always be interesting. Just like Winnie. People were asking her yesterday, give us direction. What's your end game? But she said, today we just come to greet you people. Then she also petitioned her grievances to the public. And finally, she left the she left the rally without a clear indication whether she's in ODM or she's going to fight within or she want to be the MP for Kibra or whatever. So that's how Baba used to sustain his politics for quite a long time. And that's what I've told you. When you want to take the younger generation, and the younger generation, if you want to take them, you must camouflage. You must be invisible as you proceed. So you must maintain them with your parables, your thoughts, as you strategize strategically to take. And Bro Benson, if you discover that yesterday, the Raila's secretariat were present in that rally. The master of ceremony, the one used to work with Baba, that guy, and also Baba
Mdomobagi.
assistant, like Mdomobagi, the microphone, all those bodyguards, the boys who used to shield Raila from bullets when we were at Embakasi East, they were present and they were charged. So to me, the staffs alone cannot go back home that Raila died. Now we have retired from politics. It is Raila who has died. Them they are still living. They can protect this throne by all means because they have the all it takes. Remember when Odiwar, when Jaramogi died, Odiwar took Raila immediately and he became Raila's aide to date. So you never know. Maybe the staff have resisted and are now pushing Winnie. You
Okay.
never know these things.
All right. All right, thank you so much. This is Junet Muhammad. Junet Muhammad said, Junet Muhammad, there are people, including myself, who believe that some of the disorganization in ODM is partly associated with Uhuru Kenyatta because he wanted us to remain in Azimio group. He wanted us to go into the next election like that without considering the part of ODM is now in broad-based government. I tend to disagree with Junet Muhammad on this. I think Junet Muhammad, they they are pushing. I don't think they have a good agenda by bringing in Uhuru Kenyatta. They know what is hailing ODM. They know where the disagreement is. I do not think that even working with the President William Ruto is the problem. What is ailing ODM here is about the power struggle, because there's something that is being rushed, or that they do not want to agree with other ODM members. You know, what is making them not to sit and agree? Because I do not. The idea of bringing Uhuru Kenyatta on disorganization of ODM, I think, is far fetched. Yeah, is far fetched, and that's my opinion. I might be wrong on what Junet is saying, but you know, what what can he say about what happened in Kakamega, whereby Baraza had his own delegates, and who else? This MP also, whereby Oparanya was supposed to speak where Baraza was, but Oparanya was not there. What do you have to say about what is happening in the coast? Because when you look at what is happening in the coast, I'm telling you for sure, coastal people are going to ditch ODM. And how are they going to ditch ODM? They are going to ditch ODM so that they can negotiate with President William Ruto directly. Yeah. What has Dunet has to say about that? Because the interests are quite much high. So Makobura, how are you doing, sir?
Thank you so much, and I'm doing good. I thank God,
Yeah.
and I hope mko salama na
Yes.
vile vile watazamaji wetu pia. I hope they are okay, and let me give my take, and I want to put it this way. I've never understood the hurry that is there in ODM, the hurry that is making them not even respect. If they claim to be respecting Raila Amolo Odinga, then they should respect the wife of Raila Amolo Odinga, they should respect the children of Raila Amolo Odinga, and they should respect the ODM at large. They should as well focus on uniting ODM. They should as well focus on making all those people who believed in ODM feel that they are at home. That should be the focus of the leaders of ODM. Currently, what is happening in ODM is exposing a lot. First, we are seeing family wrangles over here. And the question that people are then saying is, what was the genuinity that was there amongst the people who surrounded Raila Amolo Odinga? If today they do not want to incorporate the children of Raila Amolo Odinga or the wife of Raila Amolo Odinga, then what were their, what were their intentions? Today, we are seeing them singing or having a different version of the motto of ODM, Linda Ground. Nobody is saying the real slogan that is there for ODM. People of ODM are currently forgetting that ODM has a slogan, and the slogan should be mentioned whenever they are mentioning the party, the party. Today it has changed. I hear they say Linda Ground. Contrary to the beliefs of Raila Amolo Odinga, as much as Raila was part and parcel of the Azimio, which also had a slogan, most of the time he would, as a party leader, whenever he was at the party level, he would always, and of course it is required as well, that you maintain the brand and the identity of your political party. That is currently getting out of hand. There's another narrative that is coming out, and we are yet to know whether ODM is now changing even the brand, the color, the slogan, and all those kind of things. But I also want to say that should Dr. Buroginga joined the president, as he has always said, in power sharing. We are not so sure which position is going to be given, whether it's the the deputy presidential position. We don't know. We are yet to know. But if
Yeah.
he decides,
Mhm.
as he has said, that they're going for power sharing, I can tell you that this other side, that is, we are seeing it's being led by Winnie Odinga. If Winnie decides, if Oburu decides that it's going the way he's pronounced, then Winnie Odinga, I can assure you, is going to win more than 90% of the followers of Raila Molo Odinga. And this is how it's going to happen.
Marco Burang, there's something that here we have to agree with you, or we might disagree. When Raila Molo Odinga died, Raila died with um, a big support of ODM. And the people who were supporting Raila Molo Odinga, when he died, his death, when he was buried with these people. And it was not buried physically with these people, but the loyalty and the love they had for Raila went with Raila, half of them. And some of them right now is when they are trying to figure out on where they are going to be. When you look at what is happening in ODM, and that's why I still tend to believe that uh, both the wings or both the factions, talk of Babu Owino, Edwin Sifuna, Winnie, talk of Oburu Odinga, talk of Wanga, uh, especially those who are supporting the broad-based government. They are missing one thing here, because when you look at what the ones that are supporting the government, they are more of position. It's not about the party unity. They're looking for positions. What are we going to get next year? And the main reason why they might be going for or the reason why they're supporting, first of all, they're talking about we have been in government, So you ask yourself, who has been in government? Who has not been in government? If you look at it in the history, is it the ODM party or the Luo community? Two things that usually comes out when they talk about it's all about the Luo community, but you're not talking about people like Turkana and all those areas, that are coming from ODM. When you talk about we've not been in the government, so that is two things that usually comes there. Secondly, look at what is happening even in Kakamega, whereby, and Oburu did a mistake. And what mistake did he do? To attend both the meetings. Yeah, he started by attending both the meeting. And all of them, all those two meetings, they converge at one point. They recognize Oburu as the party leader. But what do they not recognize? They do not recognize people like Baraza as the chairman of ODM, of the Kakamega branch. So that is what they are not seeing. Look at what Simbarati said, was cautioning Oparanya, that he's telling the president, William Ruto, to tame your dog. Yeah. And remember that the people there, Oparanya was donated from ODM. So if Oparanya does not want to agree with Baraza, how does Uhuru Kenyatta comes in, according to Junet? Because he said that the disorganization of that ODM is because of maybe giving some suggestion to President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Look at what is happening at the coast. Isha Juma left ODM for a long time, but now they insist that Joe has to be given the position, and when they left, they say that they're not members of ODM, they were experts. So there's something that the ODM fraternity, especially the leadership of ODM, they've decided not to talk about it, or they just want for this party to die. And according to Winnie came out yesterday and said that kuna wenye walikuwa namtumia. Yeah. And he also said that when Baba was speaking, he used to speak to people directly. He did not speak to somebody in secrecy. So which means all this that has always been told to us, had been said to us about Uliwachwa Wapi, he said that Baba hakutuacha mahali. And majority of people would tend to believe what Winnie is saying because one, Winnie spent majority of her time with the late Honorable Prime Minister. Even during his sickness, Winnie would be the person as the assistant to him. So which means maybe there's a lot that Winnie knows that majority of the party leaders or the party officials do not know. That is the last one. Winnie is saying, okay, we've lost the driver, but let's stop this bus before we go far. Let's negotiate on how we are going to go in 2027. But there's a group who does not want to negotiate. They've also made a decision that this is what we are going to do. See that? That's what is there. They do not want to recognize that indeed they have a problem. And what problem do they have? First of all, they have a problem of leadership. Yeah? How did they arrive at their leaders? Makobura, you know very well, we have let's say the hierarchy of leadership. For instance, you are my head in an organization. Let's say that you are the president of organization, but in the event that something happens, maybe you are out of the organization, maybe of some issues that you are cases like that. Before we come into how we are going to do election, who should be taking charge? The deputy.
Yeah. Yes.
Remember, ODM had almost 3 deputies, 3 party leader deputies. What was so hard for them to decide amongst the deputies? Because if you reach a rank of a deputy of a party, which means they've tested you, they've tried you, and they believe you share the aspiration of that political party, and you have the ideology and you have the acumen to lead this party. Then that comes the question that Winnie was asking: what was the hurry?
Yeah. What was the hurry? And I like the analogy that, I mean, the way she brought it. We have a driver, we have a bus. We've gotten to a point on our way to Canaan, and then the driver gets out of the bus, gets to the forest, and never comes back. You cannot find the driver. What is the way forward? If some people are claiming that they know how to drive, the first thing they need to do is they need to be tested and prove that they can surely drive.
Yeah.
That is the right way. And I think that is part of what Winnie has been speaking about. And that is why I was also saying here that you've talked about loyalty. You've talked about, those who believed in Baba, majority of them, the support you used to got. You said that majority of the supporters went with Baba. And it seems that they do not care. But I want to say that if normally, let me use an African culture, majority of times we've seen people die. And whenever they die, we've seen friends coming to their funerals, promising that, well, our friend has gone, but we are going to stand with you. We are going to stand with your children. We will educate them. We will not allow them to go through difficult moments if we are here. I can tell you that majority of people have never committed. I've never followed up to ensure that they've done as per their, promises. But there are people who have always followed up. There are people who have always had interest.
Mm-hmm.
And on the same, we can translate it to politics. There are those group of people who believed in Raila Odinga. Well, Raila went, but the love they had for Raila, the stories they knew about Raila, it would be passed from their to their children, to their grandchildren. And that is why, if I can give you examples in the Mount Kenya region, there are some families within Mount Kenya region that come rain, come sunshine, they supported Raila Odinga. Look at there's this member of this lady who was appointed as a senator and the husband died. The one that um, Masharia negotiated, told Raila to nominate. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
whether you heard the story.
No.
There's this lady, I'm forgetting her name. The husband died, and then Raila attended the burial together with SK Masharia. And the day that SK Masharia was saying that Raila was left in his hands, and so he has to protect him no matter what. He did mention, if you followed, I'm forgetting the name of that senator, nominated senator.
Mm.
If you did follow our conversation, you'd realize that that friendship started long ago.
Yep.
And as much as they are from Murema, they are from Kikuyu, they are, for example, Kikuyu, they have always had the love for the Raila family, something that was passed from their parents. And that
Mm-hmm.
is why, as much as majority of people, whether all of them are on that other side, they have always come out to support Raila Odinga, whether financially, which in whichever way. I can tell you those people who believed in Raila would still stand with any genuine person who really is concerned about the party that Raila Odinga used to run. And I
Mm-hmm.
can tell you that group of people, I can tell you it's a big group. There's that group. All those people will support us, the daughter of Raila Odinga, and any person who has genuine grounds. And
Mm.
what is happening here is that there is a distinction that has, the line is already drawn, and it is drawn this way. If you see the children of Raila Odinga coming out to even protest, then they will be believed. The people will believe them. This is how they will be believed.
Mm.
People would say that these are the right children of Raila Odinga. If you look at the African culture or even the Luo culture, in terms of inheritance,
Mm.
when a parent dies, it is the right of the children to directly inherit the wealth of the late.
Yeah.
That is what the culture says. If you see, we've seen so many times, the parent dies, and then instead of the children, because either they're still young or because they might not have the capacity to fight, we've seen
Mm.
brothers of the late taking
Mm.
wealth and letting the children suffer. I can tell you not once but several times, people with good intentions will always come out to fight for those people, and they will always be seen as the victims. And that is how Winnie is going to win quite a huge number of supporters that are feeling, that are used to follow Raila Odinga. But again, something else that I'm also seeing in this particular party is the speed at which Dr. Buru Oginga Odinga is being taken. It is one that has to be questioned. If truly the people who are pushing Oburu Oginga to move at the speed that they are moving, the question out here is, what is the need for that speed? If truly you care about this party, what is the best thing? Should we slow down, resolve the problems, ensure that all the passengers are in, and then you start moving? That is the question. And that is part of the reason why Winnie Odinga is also going to get accepted, because whatever she's saying is making sense. Let me give you another example, something that is contrary from how this this current party is being run.
Yeah.
The many times Raila Amolo Odinga was the party leader of ODM.
Yes.
Look at the many times that he was looking for in negotiating with other political parties. Most of time you are even confused. You do not even know that ODM is going to work with Wiper. You do not even know that ODM is going to work with NAC. It was
Yeah.
something that was being done at the last minute. And the reason being, it is done that way so that your party gets, when you get to a point where there is now an emergency, you will be seen as a serious contender, you'll be seen as a serious party, and that is why ODM survived for long. You have to make moves not visible for your enemies. What is the need for ODM to get in a pact currently 1 year before the election? If Raila used to do it 3 months to the election, 1 week towards the election, those are some of
Mhm.
the things that are not right, that are also making those people who have supported ODM to question certain moves that are currently here in ODM.
All right. I agree with you because, like, if you look at 20 years for ODM, and the value that ODM has, you could not expect this from a 20, the party that has survived the political terrain of Kenya and remained united for a total of 20 good years. It's not very easy in the political history of our country, apart from Kanu that went for long after the founding father Jomo Kenyatta. Then Moi came until it was taken out of power. So for 20 years, especially for ODM and how they are carrying out themselves, we are not questioning who are they going to work with, but we are questioning how are they lowering themselves, their value. Would I say that after 20 years, just because you want to work with the president? Yes, you can work with the president. You can work with Kalonzo Musyoka. They have the the luxury to choose from, the time they choose from, who are they going to work with. But now, how they are doing it and the process that they're doing it, uh, uh, yes, yes. Oburu was installed as the party leader by Ruto to facilitate the way for broad-based government. And and something about also the broad-based government. The broad-based government is just a word of the paper that has been used to be solved. We do not. I don't think we have a broad-based government. It's just a broad-based government is a political tool that is being used for both supporters of President William Ruto and the supporters of ODM. I don't think. But now, Makubura, let's come and look at the rally itself for Winnie. To me, I would say that Winnie had a very successful rally. And there was something that was very unique about Winnie's rally as compared to what Oburu had. One was the organization and mobilization. I think the people who assisted Winnie to organize for that rally, they did a good job. One, they tended to include the people who are coming from Kibra as compared to what happened for Oburu. Remember the Wanga and the Abdiswamar, they came and talked, but the people coming from Kibra, actually, the Kamkunji area were not given an opportunity to talk, and which was quite much different with what Winnie said. Another thing also that I picked from that rally, which was not addressed, which Oburu did not address or Oburu did not listen. Oburu just came, and with these people, they gave the money. This idea of always thinking that money is the solution of everything. Like, if something happens, we do not look for permanent solution, but we always come and give. Look at 3 million. If you look at the people who their houses were burnt down, or their houses were destroyed, how much do you think somebody will get out of 3 million? Maybe 50,000. How many were they? What can we do not offer long-lasting solution. You talked about, people are saying on how the women going out to look for water, the steamer things. So these are the issues. These are the issues that were coming, and that one was a well thought and a well organized, and give her what we call the Winnie moment. which is, you compare it to what the other organizers wanted to do. You know, the other organizers wanted to create Raila moment, especially for Oburu Odinga, and that's why I think like where Winnie came with issue of copy pasting Baba. You know, they want to create Raila moment in Oburu, or they want to make Oburu the Raila of today, which cannot happen, because if you look at the life that Raila took, the political journey that Raila took from how he started his political career to put him where he was, and even the time he was dying, it was not
Brother,
a truth
brother,
that even
I just wanted to ask you this. If you, I'm quite sure you did follow a lot Raila's rallies and the many times that he would speak to the people. Look at the moment Raila Molodinga would stand to the moment he would finish his, his speeches.
Mhm.
Well organized as presidential address. I can call it so.
Mm,
Something similar to that. Look at what was happening when Oburu Odinga held the rally in Kibra.
mm,
First, I can tell you, I don't know whether they did plan, but from my own assessment, I can tell you that
mm,
they behaved like it was not planned. They did
mm,
not have an agenda. They behaved like they woke up in the morning and they were told that let's go have a meeting with the people. They behaved like they were confused. Look at the many times that members of parliament were whispering. Dr. Buro Ginga at his age, giving a speech, and you're whispering something to his ear. Are
mm.
you, what are you showing?
Yeah,
Are you not confusing that person? And
yeah,
yet
yeah.
they did not have a serious agenda. It all showed that truly the people who are pushing Oburu are
Mm,
members of parliament, majority of them are
yes.
those people who have personal interest. Look at the things, he's speaking and they want Oburu to listen and talk about what they are speaking about. They want to give him, a direction on what to say and what not to say. The question here is, at whose benefit are they doing it? At their own benefit, and they have their personal interest. Something
Mm,
else that is here is these members of parliament understands well that the ground is not as they used to be. These members of parliament understand that majority of them were doing what was right just because Raila Amolo Odinga was there and would give them a chance. And so long as they were loyal to Baba, without question, they would get it. Whether you are, so long as you are closer to Baba, you would
mm,
automatically be elected.
yeah.
But that is going to change. It is
Mm,
going to change because currently, whatever you do, that would then that is what would determine what you are going to get. If you do not perform, you are not going to get that. And so, what these members of parliament, majority of them, are looking for is state protection. That is why they are forcing themselves to the government so that they will be given some money to do campaign, so that they
mm,
will be protected by the state.
yeah.
That is the typical thing that is happening. Look at the likes of Babu Wino, those who believes and knows very well that they did well. The ground is okay with them. They are not
Yeah.
surprised. They are not having any issues.
Mhm.
And we need to be truthful. ODM party has been sabotaged, ODM party has been diverted, and it is not serving the real interest. ODM is currently not standing alone. ODM
But
is standing and working under the instructions of big political masters who have intentions in that particular party.
uh,
And majority of the leaders have accepted that whatever the outcome is, they are selling the party so long as they survive.
no, Makobura, to me, the idea of selling the party, I don't think so. The idea is here. The idea is that from because like one thing that we have to agree here, we are not advocating for ODM not to work with President William Ruto. No, ODM, they have their own structures and leadership, and they can decide on who they want to work with or who they do not want to work with. But we are just giving observation based on the history that we've known of the party and how they've always carried themselves in the umbrella of the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga. There are things that are happening that we've not seen with them, especially like what happened in Kakamega. I've mentioned it several times about two factions having delegate meeting. It has never happened. How could that one happen in the presence when Raila Odinga was there? I've never seen a situation whereby you talked about coalition, and majority of the negotiation is about positions, and they're forgetting even the 10-point agenda that actually culminated to where they are today. And none of them talks about all these 10-point agenda and how are we going to actualize them, and the infights, especially amongst the leaders. And I told you earlier that they are not solving the issue. What I would say is this: with all this is happening, one might be driven by a personal interest. There are people who are driving their personal interest in using the ODM. Once their personal interest will be achieved, they do not care whether ODM loses his value or ODM gains his value. No, it is what it is. Provided that I can get what I want, I'm done. Yeah. So that's why when you go to the internet, you will find people calling this a real ODM and the ODM kiosk, all that names. And it is seen in white and black. There are this who are supporting this and this who are not supporting this. So at the end of the day, this is what is going to happen. To me, I believe, and you will come here, ODM is going to die because of the different leadership struggle that we have, or it will separate into two. There are those who might go with the Winnie wing, Sifuna Babu Owino, and those who are going to go with the Buru wing. But now, where sometimes is also quite much interesting, when you look at even how the some of the party leaders are talking, there's a double standard. What is wrong if Winnie inherits his father's property like ODM? What is wrong with that? Because how many times have we seen when members of parliament they die, there's always that advocating for their immediate family members or their family members to inherit.
That is the other question that we are also asking. The other day,
Yeah.
Baba's always, not once, but several times. I'm not advocating for that inheritance kind of structure. But if we go by the notion that has been there,
Yeah.
if we go by, the culture that was set by Baba himself,
Yeah.
he had set a culture that if somebody dies, as a way of consoling that particular family, you give it to the heir until they recover. If there comes another round that they now need to get to the field and then let the field decide. We haven't seen that happening. The other day, Baba struggled and gave it to the son. When he was almost going, gave it to the son of Gongondo Weri. Look at the many members of parliament that have always died. Look at Kajwang and the brother, look at, this Baba always respected and wanted the family, the political family, especially when they were truthful and had good agendas according to him. He would give them the opportunity to expand. And most of time, especially when these people died, when they had not finished the agenda, we always saw him advocating. Baba died when he had not finished his agenda. He died without giving a direction. What then somebody would say is, this is Raila's daughter. This is somebody who died. This is the daughter that Raila walked with everywhere. Huyu alikuwa kama kibeti chake. Na tunajua mara mingi alikuwa nasikiza ni mpango gani baba ako nayo. Wampe nafasi basi, aongoze hapo kidogo. Alafu, if another election comes, let the members decide. I think that again would have slightly reduced the current confusion that is there within the ODM. It would have slightly reduced this group of people having divisions, because then the question would be, If you loved Baba, then you have to love their children. If you used to hear Baba, then if you are living ODM, then where are you living when the daughter is still there? Such kind of mentality. But again, it all I don't know how the people who thought that installing Oburu at his age, and especially at a time when young people had been on the street, at a time when there had been consistent conflict within the party, at a time that there people had always demanded for change. If it was not Winnie, the daughter of Raila, then the best thing would be one of the deputies. We had the three deputies. One of them would be given the chance to continue the legacy of Baba Raila Amolo Odinga.
Makobura, it is, when you look at it, there's so many things, so many questions that you can ask, especially when it comes to the succession politics of ODM. But at the end of the day, as I mentioned earlier, that the only thing that will cure what ODM is going through right now is break, when they will break, because based on our politics, our political beliefs and ideology, and how we perceive politics. When you look at the Kenyan politics right now, there's nothing that thrives in Kenyan politics like political transaction, where everything is being transacted, is all about money. All about money, especially when it comes to development, is all about money, money, money. Everything is money. Everything is money. So when money become the center stage of our politics, every time that we want to negotiate, yeah, we think of about money. That is now where we've lost it. And that is what even is happening in ODM to an extent whereby themselves, not even somebody from outside who talks about on some people selling the party, you know. And it doesn't mean that selling the party, like getting money out of it, but it is that working with the system that are working within the party to sabotage some of the wishes and the beliefs and the ideology of the party. That is what it means. But you find that it's all about money working. Look at even the other day. It wants to tell you how our politics has been bad. The other day, I think it has taken long. A few days ago, a few months ago, the father of the teacher Robert, Robert is it Ojuang, how the father was crying for justice, and just that is justice. But remember what happened when Governor Wanga took over that funeral. I don't know how many sacks of maize they used to feed the people. They built the house, they did everything, but they did not kind of like talked about the system that we have, because that one does not cure the system. You know, yeah. That one does not cure the system. You've just postponed the system. One time it will happen. So you ask yourself, for how long will all this money actually be given, especially when something of such happened, like wanasema kupanguza macho, yet the system is not there. Look at all that. So at the end of the day, until that time we will stop what we call transactional politics, um, then we will be free. And remember, even if when you listen to even how Junet Muhammad is talking about Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, does it mean that he's just talking about Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta can just come up one day and say that I don't want you to do with this? No, it might say that maybe Uhuru Kenyatta is funding some of the activities. He might. I'm not saying that that could be, but it's about transaction. What money are you going to get? Everybody who visits sometimes State House, when they go for those political rallies, sometimes you hear them come out of say they are like that. Some were given 10,000, some were given, instead of discussing the real issues that people are facing. So back to Winnie Odinga. There's something that also Winnie Odinga, I think she did that was very remarkable, especially the absence of Sifuna and Babu Owino. That was, to me, that was the best thing that she did. Because one, if Babu Owino could have been there and Edwin Sifuna, it could have been a Sifuna and Babu Owino. And all the media social media platforms and all these platforms like where we are, we could have not been talking about Winnie Odinga. We could have been talking about Babu Wine and Sifuna and what they've done. Because, you know, like right now, the center stage, the conversation of ODM surrounds about Edwin Sifuna and all that. And that is about Winnie Odinga. And another thing also about that, again, it's about answering of Kasmuel Makoure, about, because like Kasmuel Makoure has always been on attack uh, on Edwin Sifuna. And now Winnie came out. So we are looking forward to see how Kasmuel will attack Winnie on the mention of Sifuna. Makobura to you.
You've talked about Kasmel, and I don't know even now how to put it. Kasmel is one young boy uh, who who was just the other day was on the street with fellow young people, and then we saw him joining the ODM party, which is not a bad thing. It is a good thing joining a political party, because mostly those are the vehicles that are used to ferry people to these particular positions. But again, he has a right. He's a Kenyan. Every person has a right to be a member of whichever political party that they want. So Kasmil has that right. And I think Kasmil is trying to use the same mentality or the same tactic that was used by Edwin Sifuna when he was taking over the role that he's now serving as the Secretary General for ODM. Remember, Edwin Sifuna came at a point when there was, of course, quite a lot of misunderstanding between the members that were there and the Secretary General, and we saw Edwin coming in place as a way. He actually came as he simply hijacked everything, and from then he became the Secretary General, and he has done well. That is one thing that we have to say, because Edwin Sifuna, as during his tenure, he has done well. Of course, he also came at a point where ODM has been having quite a lot, many challenges, including the so-called consistent, election conflicts, where some of them have ended to court. He's been a leader at a point when ODM had to make quite a number of difficult decisions, including getting to the streets, bringing back to, convincing the people that it was right not to get to the street, let them come back to street, and all those kind of things. So he did well. Kasmuel, as a young person, also has a right, but to me, the only difference that I have is currently being coached, or is currently being I'm trying to find the right word to even put it. He's being sent to back at the wrong time and at the wrong place. He's backing at somebody who is still doing a perfect work. He's backing at somebody who is still doing excellent work. The only issue here is some few differences which are there. So Kasmel needs to understand. Let him not be used by these old guards, because they have different political views with the young people. He's being used so that he can be seen as one of the youngest people that are on that other side. He's being used to sanitize the other side. He's not seeing the reality. And that is why even Kasmuel made the worst decision. Remember, Kasmuel was one of the young people who were on the forefront, and they would have been rewarded by the young people. The only mistake they did is to make quick moves when the young people are still thinking on the right move, when the young people had not finished the operations they were taking. The likes of Kasmuel made the first move, and for that reason, they were seen as those who are not Syrians, those who cannot be entrusted to lead young people or young groups, the so-called Gen Zs. So Kasmuel had the good opportunity. He wasted. He currently still has a good opportunity of joining the majority of the young people who are still in this particular fight. He needs to recognize that the leadership of this country, majority have always been the hold. And if that paradigm is shifting, then he has to be on the right side. The right side is working with the young people. Those people are being chased on the part out of the party, so that when they are coming out to make resolutions, they would be given an ear. But at this particular point, if he continues running closer, following a group of these old politicians who are greedy and only wants to be given opportunity or to be protected by the ruling government, then I think they're making the wrong. He's making the wrong move. He has no capacity to come and criticize or to even question the suitability of Edwin Sifuna. Kasmuel has and should not do that particular thing. If he wants uh, to question Edwin Sifuna, then he should question him when he's not on the other side. On the other side, where he is actually being used by those members of parliament. And one thing I can say is that his political career or his future politically might also be questioned by the people that he's intending to be ruling in the near future. And again, most of time, the words that he use as a young person, as a young leader, really matters a lot. We've seen him, giving or using some language which are not really in order, because as young people, we are the narrative and the politics that are currently being spread by the young people is one that is uniting, one that is respectful, and one that has and makes sense. Good, I'll give you a chance to also give your take on the same. Kasmel, consistently questioning and attacks that he's giving towards Edwin Sifuna.
The young man is young, and I cannot just attack my fellow young person. What I can just say, you need to be guided. You need to play cool and smart, because the consistent attack on SG has never responded to him. So the young man just want attention, and that attention she hasn't got. So he should be ignored. But even if you must play politics, do you want to rise by calling out someone's name, by calling out the phone? What are your ideologies? Why are you in leadership? So those are the questions that people should be asking the young man. The young man is hungry for power. We can just advise him to cool down and just play up to his limits. And there's always time for everything. He can't be SG today. If he has a dream to be SG, he will be one day, but not today. Right now, what's going on in between ODM is what we call bargaining power, negotiation, politics at high stakes. He doesn't understand anything there going on. So let him not rush. Why can't he see Obura attacking Sifuna? Oburu is not attacking Sifuna. And why can't he see Sifuna attacking Oburu? He's the one who is attacking Sifuna. So that's has just demonstrate to you that she's a lad, a young lad, doesn't understand politics. One day he will understand. His privilege is working with politicians. He doesn't understand what's called bargaining. He sees politics the way he sees it. He doesn't analyze it. into deeper. I just want to wish him all the best as my fellow young man, and also to pray to him that the Almighty God should give him counsel and guidance to play good politics and stop yapping each and every time. And definitely, we also wish him all the best in his political journey. And he should remember that it does not end with Sefona. If Sefona works in ODM today, tomorrow he will be irrelevant. So let him play politics that can make him prosper for eternity. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Miguda. Maybe you can give us your views on what is happening in DCP, where we've seen quite a number of DCP leaders. We've seen Runyenjes, we've seen Manyata, we've seen Governor Kahiga, and quite a number of them leaving UDA. We've seen Wambugo. Wambugo also left, and he was actually on Spice, saying that Rigathi Gachagua was one of the most powerful politicians few months ago, and he would not be questioned by any member of, there's no member of parliament within Mount Kenya would go against him and say anything contrary to his thinking. But then of late, we are seeing those members, majority, fleeing back to UDA. And, there was also speculation that Malala, who is the deputy party leader, might be having issues with the party leader Rigathi Gachagua, but we saw Malala together with Rigathi after those speculations in I think it was in Malindi or at the coast. I'm not so sure. I'm forgetting the exact place. And they reaffirmed that they're still together. They're still working on what we call making the party stronger. What are your views about DCP and its popularity? Is it losing popularity? And what is the way forward, according to you, Miguda?
I don't think that the DCP is losing its popularity since it has not come to effective. Right now is a new kid in block, and it has come with a lot of circumstances and mixed reactions. What I can say is that the reason why could motivated people, like you have said, are currently ditching DCP to UDA is the previous by-elections. Maybe they have grown cold feet because UDA won those elections. They decided to grow cold feet, and now they're going back to UDA. Or the UDA people might have dished out money and they have been persuaded to go back to UDA. That could be the reason, but not that DCP was that popular. It has not come to effective. You can't say that DCP was having 60 members of parliament. Right now, he's having 20 members of parliament or 15 or 10. There's no member of parliament from DCP. We can't argue it right now that the DCP has collapsed because it has not come to effective. We can only discuss its collapse after the general election. We're able to know how many people DCP will sponsor to parliament or to council of governors. Then from there, we can now conclude whether it has collapsed or not. But for now, I can't confirm that whether it's collapsed or not collapsed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Allow me to welcome our good friend, Msimamo. Habari ya leo, utatuambia uko vipi, na vilevile ukikuja unaweza tupea maoni yako about the comments of Winnie Odinga at the rally in Kibra, where he criticized the move by he criticized the move by Dr. Buru Odinga as the party leader of ODM, and msimamo ni kama ametoroka kidogo. Before he comes, allow me to acknowledge the presence of Shaima Hussein. Asante sana. Andy Pimkin, thank you so much for also joining. I can also see the ambassador of two-term Laban Musiani over here, and Rena Skare is also here. Thank you so much, we appreciate. Paulo, asante sana kwa kupata nafasi pia kujiunga nasi. Kulikuwa na Innocent Boy is also here. Thank you so much Innocent kwa kupata nafasi. Judith Karuitha was also here. Thank you so much Judith for finding time as well. We really appreciate. And not forgetting everyone who is watching us. I want to remind you that this is Brother Benson Media, and here we say that your opinion counts. If you are watching for the first time, kindly like and subscribe, because if you do so, it is a way of supporting us. Sisi hapa tutasema ni asante. Shema anasema nimechelewa ama umechelewa kidogo Shaima, lakini bado tunashukuru kwa sababu umejiunga nasi jioni hii ya leo. Asante sana na tunakushukuru pia. Yes, so Mr. Miguda, on the DCP part, there's also some engagement that nduru za kuaminia zinasema ya kwamba DCP is also keenly following and convincing the former party leader, the former president Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, to join them in working together to ensure that they fully finish the waves of UDA in the Mount Kenya region. That is part of what is going on in the Mount Kenya, and of course we saw the Jubilee Party Secretary General also making some remarks that the Mount Kenya region, the UDA has lost the support of the Mount Kenya region, and the UDA they should understand that. What are your views? What are the possibilities of UDA working, DCP working with Jubilee closely to ensure that they finish the waves of UDA in the Mount Kenya region? Miguda?
DCP party leader Gachagua has been camping in the Mount Kenya. It's gonna be hot because you need to move across the country. Like William Ruto now move across the country, trying to solidify the UDA and trying to also chase away DCP Mount Kenya. It's high time for Gachagua. What if Kalonzo bolt out and remain the only presidential aspirant in the opposition? He really go to the elections with Mount Kenya people. He solidify. So I think that's politics, Marco Bura, and it's very much interesting. Sometimes you try something new. If it's not working, you jump and main things. What if you see tomorrow Gachagua supporting William Ruto? What will you say? So I believe that it's just more solidify. Ruto solidify Mount Kenya. Gachagua right now has taken a retreat because it's a long journey. Something you never prepared to contest for the presidency. And all of a sudden you are there in the pitch. Resources, mobilization, etc. Compete someone who is having money like Ruto. Sometimes it becomes very difficult. And I think that's the challenges right now Gachagua is facing. He's facing a lot of challenges, but anyway, he has nothing to lose. The president also has ensured that he unleash all his available tools towards opponents, including buying voters. And that's good, my view.
Okay, thank you so much. And back to Uganda, where we are finding kuna mambo huko Uganda ambapo juzi juzi kulikuwa na uchaguzi, na uchaguzi huo umekosolewa sana sana na mashirika ya haki humu nchini ambao wanayakosoa uchaguzi hiyo. Vilevile wanasema Rais Museveni alitumia wanajeshi kuogofya, kufanya wananchi wafikiria ya kwamba wasipofanya vile wanahitaji, that view that the environment that was not conducive, let me put it in that manner. We are also seeing the Kenya human rights, of course, amongst others, are also having the same stand, and they're saying that this kind of election has to be investigated, and they're also requesting other institutions that are relevant to assist na wakuje waingilie kati ya hii mambo. And they're also saying this is a consistency within the African countries, and that if it is not addressed, then we will have perennial leaders who would not leave the space. What are your views, Miguda, about first we saw the president of Uganda coming out when he was receiving the certificate saying that anybody who is having an alternative behavior, plans for that particular country in terms of causing chaos, should know that they are warned in advance. What are your views, Miguda? Miguda, are you there? Okay, thank you so much. Allow me once again to appreciate everyone who joined us this evening. We really appreciate, and we are very much thankful for you finding time to join us. Allow me to acknowledge Nick on desk. There's Leo Nyabaya, there's Ayoki, amongst others. I want to say that thank you so much for finding time to join us. Thank you so much for participating, and especially those of you who have given their comments, who have engaged us at the comment section. We really appreciate your time and your participation. We don't take it for granted. I just want to remind you once again that if you are watching us for the first time, kindly like and subscribe, because if you do so, it is a way of supporting us, na sisi hapa tutaendelea kusema ni asante. Miguda, are you there? Kindly confirm. Miguda? Okay, thank you so much. And today we've been just giving our views. Are you there?
Hello? Yeah, I'm back.
Did you get my question?
I'm back. No. What's the question?
What are your views about the elections that were held in Uganda?
Elections were declared, and you have seen the Ugandans celebrating. I can just say there were no violence. We never experienced violence like what happened in Tanzania. But democracy, or maybe elections, are still not verifiable fair, because why do you switch on internet after elections? And there was arguing that internets were there. There were no internets in 80s, 90s, 60s, but the country was running. So there is an internet will not stop the country from running. Anyway, that's their country. We can discuss less, but because we believe and respect the sovereign state, whereby each and every country is sovereign, and we have to respect the fact of self-determination, that they're independent, and we only interact internationally. Uganda's elections were dark, were not transparent. I'm not able to analyze it fully because we were denied access to most of information. and we were not observers. And until we get an observer, we reviewed first that election. Makubura, back to you.
Maybe your final remarks.
Okay, I just want to appreciate our viewers and you to the show, and also you are hosting and Benson. We meet tomorrow. Bye bye to everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Allow me to once again appreciate everyone who joined us today. And of course, to remind you that this is Brother Benson Media. If you are watching for the first time, kindly just like and subscribe, because if you do so, it is a way of supporting us. Na sisi hapa tutasema ni asante. I want to take this opportunity to wish you all a blessed evening, blessed night, blessed morning, a blessed afternoon, a blessed evening from wherever you're watching us from. Thank you so much. And may God bless you. See you again tomorrow.